Hello, I am the Bad Mini Painter, and I'm doing Space Marines. This time Blood Angels. I'm generally trying to figure out what chapter I enjoy painting the most, and where I can get the best result with my extremely limited skills. So, we're doing Space Marines. Yes. So, for the Blood Angels, it seemed pretty bloody, obvious. See what I did there? To use Blood Angels, the contrast from Citadel. I feel like Space Marines are pretty much designed for contrast. Contrast paint, it doesn't really do a good job on panels, but when it's small panels and there is a lot of shading to them, it's brilliant, and you save so much time doing the highlights because it will do it for you. Just be aware of splotching and goops collecting in the bottom of the miniature. Next I take Avalon Sunset and I do the helmet yellow. I've seen there's a lot of different takes on when the helmet is yellow and when it isn't. I have a Funko Pop Blood Angel and his helmet is yellow, so I decided to do that. Also, else I would be pretty much done now. Next I take Glossy Black from Vallejo, and I use that on the joints, which you can barely see because apparently I cannot for the life of me figure out how to place my hand compared to where the camera is. So I do apologize for that, but believe me, I put it in the joints. Next we do some Morfang Brown, and that's for the pistol holster and the pouches. And now it's time for some lead belcher, and that's for the gun and the metal parts on his jump pack. Yeah, it's a nice go-to color for all metal. And I try to be careful not to hit the contrast painted areas because it's hard to repair, because if you go over contrast with contrast you will darken it severely. And if you try to add some base white and then add contrast, you still have a pretty big color difference. So it's like mistakes are very visible. Then we do Doom Death Black from two thin coats, and I do that for the non-metal parts of the gun, or well, the black parts of the gun. And next up is Mummy Ropes. It's a good base color before adding Agrax Earthshade. So if you want this parchment paper dirty look, it's my go-to. I use Blood Red from Scale 75 for the sigil. I think that's what it's called, right? A sigil? A sigil seems right. Agrax Earthshade for the leather. And I put on way too much. Luckily I can clean that up. And for the parchment, the paper thing above. And then I decide to use Grazier as a base color on his chest armor decoration thing. I'm going to go over it with the non-oil afterwards. Stormhost silver for the metal parts on the helmet. And also for the buttons on the leather pouches. And then it's time for some light highlighting for again the leather pouches, and I use Scrag Brown. I think it's a good color for doing wear and tear on leather, brown leather anyway. It looks decent enough. Then it's time for non-oil, and I use that on the entirety of the gun, the metal parts on the jump pack, and for the chest armor, just to add some grime and yeah. Now for his eyes, again using my Funko Pop as inspiration, I decided to go with a mood green. A color I have an insane amount of, despite I can't really remember ever using it. But hey, now I get the chance, and I think it's a good color, like green, yellow, red. It's good. Asian gray for highlighting the gun, just on the raised areas that would be scraped. It's basically just to add some variation, because black is very quickly just black, and it's boring to look at. So and then we do some demon red from Two Thin Coats. And that's just for the sigil, because it got darkened a bit too much by the Agrax shade. And finally, Seraphim, Sepia. And that's just for the helmet, to add some shading on that, because it was like a yellow splotch. And the end result, I could have done worse, right? I feel like I could have done a lot worse. I mean, it's battle ready. It looks good, kind of dirty, and it could have been worse. Anywho, if you like this video, seek mental help, but also leave a like, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. It makes me feel good. So, thank you for your time. I know it's valuable, and I will see you on the next upload. Bye.